Okay, so for exercise 11, drawing this this double sink, it's a bit funny. It's drawn with 3 plug holes, and you can buy them like this, but it'd probably be more common to have the drain, the draining, what do they call it, where the dishes drain on the right, and then just two sinks to the left. That's not really important though. To draw the shape, the first part's a lot like the bath that you would have just done, but it's done in a different way because it's a good way of just trying out these different options like stretch. So you can see here, given this inner bowl, which is your 400 by 400 rectangle that they talk about up here. So you can draw a rectangle to begin that, and because you're not given a location, you can just click anywhere on the page, anywhere at all, and then type in the size. It's at 400, 400, enter, and that gives you this, well, it's a square really, but you use rectangle to draw it. And this is where it gets a bit more confusing. There are a few ways of stretching it, but this way, using grips, is a good method. You might have seen on the modify menu, you've got the stretch command as well. Somewhere there we are, stretch, which will do the same thing. Oh yeah, offset it first. So I'll do the offset first. So with offset, you can give the distance, which is 50 mil. Choose the rectangle, click outside, enter. And so, like I was saying, you can use stretch from the menu here, but it's good to try this method using the grips. And so the trick there is to click on the shape and you'll see these blue handles come up, which you would have used in some of the earlier exercises doing the North Point, and it talks about those. Yeah. And so if you don't see the grips coming up, just press escape to cancel any commands that are running, and then try selecting something and they should come up. And then just like it says in the notes here, hold down shift and click on one of those blue squares and it'll highlight it in red, and click on another one while you're still holding shift, and that way you can select multiple points. If you don't use shift, it'll only let you select one. And so then to use those red grips, you just need to let go of shift and then pick on either one of them, move it to the right and type in your distance, which is 700, enter, and that gives you this final shape here. And then another thing to remember, to finish that off and go on to the next part where we need to mirror this inner bowl, you need to press escape to deselect those or that shape. Okay, so it talks about using mirror here to flip the inner bowl. You're given the steps in the notes, but I'll just show you the basic method. You can pick the inner bowl first, so that's this rectangle here, and then choose mirror, from the menu, and then you'll see in the notes here P1 and P2. So they're on this axis running through the middle, and basically it'll snap to those midpoints. So P1 at the top, come down and then choose P2, which is the midpoint directly below, and it'll show you the copied object that you want, or the mirrored object. But this is the part that puts everyone off. Once you choose that second point it's an axis that you're doing between those 2 points, those 2 shapes, it'll disappear. Don't worry when that happens. If you read on the command line, it's just asking you if you want to erase the source object, this one. You don't want to, so you just need to say no, N, enter, and it'll keep the original object and then give you the new one. So that's the hard part. The rest you can then do using commands you've used previously. So thinking about the radius, the outer bowl or the outer edge is has an 80mm radius. So using fillet, you have the radius option. The moment it's set to 150, so I'll type in R, enter, 80, enter, and that'll set my radius obviously to 80. I'll use that polygon option again, so P, enter, and then I'll choose the outer edge. The inner edges, I'll just zoom in there so it's a bit clearer. They're offset from that outside edge. So if you remember, it's 50mm between those edges, and so the radius comes in 50mm, which means the inner radius is 30mm. So it's 50 less than 80. So with fillet again, I just need to type R, enter to set a new radius, 30, enter, then P, enter to choose a polygon again, and then go through the same process. This time the radius is already set to 30, so I can just type P now, P, enter, and choose the other rectangle. To do the last part, there are a few different ways. You could try drawing a rectangle and then centering it, but it might be easier just to draw lines going from the midpoint on the top to the bottom, and then going left to right through the midpoints, going through the middle of that sink on either of those edges. Then use offset to come first 100mm either side of this centre line, because it's 200mm altogether. So 100mm is my offset distance, and I'll choose the centre line to the left, and then the centre line again to the right. Then I'll choose offset again, and this time make it 150 because it's 300 in total for the vertical dimension. And I'll choose that line, and then above, and then this line, and then below. So then finally, with the fillet command again, I can choose the individual lines this time instead of using polyline. Just keep repeating fillet. That's right, yeah, the radius is already set to 30mm from before. You could press enter in between each of these instead of choosing it from the menu. Okay, so after that you won't need this those two centre lines anymore, so you can delete those. And then to draw the plug hole, you can just use circle, and again by eye you could centre it, but if you want to use object tracking you can try using that. And it's 50mm radius. And don't worry about drawing the one on the right, because I don't think that really makes sense anyway. So that's the finished basin. And you can see I've just drawn it roughly in the location it needs to be. Don't worry too much about moving it to this exact coordinate. If you want to try that, it's done with the move command. But if you just draw it by eye in that top left area, that's fine for now. So I'll finish that there.